So welcome back to a new book review. Today we are going to talk about the novel from Star Trek Discovery, The Enterprise War, and it's been written by John Jackson Miller. First thing I like to say about this is I love this novel. I really did. It was really I got some inspirations to write my own fanfictions about it. So I got my inspirations, and well, the story was very exciting, and the Enterprise, she have been boarded by like space pirates, and well, I have to a little bit back. The space pirates attacked them, and it meant that Pike had to separate the saucer from the butter bridge. And I was very excited because that was also the point that I became a Trekkie. The first episode of TNG, that was that point, that was my inspiration to becoming a Trekkie. I loved that point, so yeah. And the Enterprise was doing a science search on the planet, and also on the planet they've been raided and they've been kidnapped, with the point that the crew with Spock, who was the first commander of this mission, the OA team, they were being kidnapped by those pirates, and then they had to fight their way. The pirates kidnapped them for fights, and how more you would listen, how more range space you got in what you are and what they did. My taste, I didn't like it that, but okay, it's part of the story. But they ended up that the Enterprise was been boarded, and as well as the battle bridge of the saucer has been boarded, and they would, not hostage, because they could still doing their job. And I must say, you're gonna get a bit more background of Pike and number one, Una. And Una, they described Una as how I see her. And she would kick ass. She does. But there are also other characters that were very into the story, and you also could have some of the background of them, and that was really nice, I must really say. But there was also a little point, and I come back to writing fanfiction again. There was a point that Pike was some kind of a daydreaming out of the window, and Una came next to him, and she knew exactly what she had to say, exactly what they had to do. So I, of course, as a woman, think, hey, love story. And in one way, I had hoped that they did that a little bit more. And also in the way of maybe, perhaps, but that's me. I would make a love story about it. But in total, the whole novel is very good. It's very good. But I read it in a few days. So for me, and I'm not even, English isn't even my mother tongue. So if I can read it easily, you can read it too. I must say this was one of my favorite Star Trek novels till now. Although I must say I just started to read them, so I started about 3 years ago, something. And I must say it's this story. I loved it. I really loved it. It's really good. And because we also already have how things are in Discovery with with the Enterprise, you would imagine or visualize that, because we have a Captain Pike, we have a number one, we have a Spock, and etc, etc, etc. And so to imagine what the writer was telling you is very easy. And I think that is the part also that would say, hey, okay, I can visualize that. And I must say, I can recommend this book for every Trekkie, even if you aren't a Trekkie but love science fiction. This is a really good book. And yeah, I think it's because the holidays are coming now. I also think it's a great present for someone, and or for yourself. So there's also one bond I really want to talk about, and that is that of Pike and Spock. Spock managed to escape, but that was only in his EV suit, and he is somewhere first in space, then he landed on a very cold planet, the ice planet. And we already saw that in one way in in one of the episodes when the Red Angel came visit him. That planet, that's the planet. And so when Pike eventually had contact with Spock, there was so much immense joy, and even from Spock kind of side. And so now they knew what happened. They could piece all the puzzles pieces together. And I thought it was about a year that finally they could start the sources section to be joined with the battle bridge. So that's also, they will see, Pike will see Una again. But we were talking about Spock and Pike. So Pike contacted Spock regularly. Spock would help him with, okay, you need to do that, you need to do this. And they will help each other. And the little conversations what Spock had with Pike, later on in the book, he would say, it would keep me insane. Well, I mean, sane. See? And that is very nice to see, because this is a time period for Spock, that he's still searching of keeping in balance the human side and the Vulcan side. And my compliments to Ethan Peck. I must say I was one of the Trekkies that were very skeptical. Also because I didn't know Ethan Peck's work. But Ethan Peck portrayed a phenomenon Spock, and younger Spock, with all his drama and emotions and etc. what he would have in that period. And I always need to think at the last episode of Discovery Season 3 that Spock was saying goodbye to Michael Burnham. And I think that's the Spock we also see in this story. And that is very nice and all very beautiful. And although Spock has trouble with keeping the balance of his human side and Vulcan side, you could also see that he is concentrating more on his job, and thanks to what Michael Burnham did, he rejoined Starfleet again as a scientist. Let's talk a little bit of the bad guys. The bad guys, I can't remember exactly how they called, but I will call them space pirates now. And I always see them like first I saw them in the way of Klingons, or their appearance, but also like a little bit of the Kamali. So I have no idea how they really describe. I think it is a little bit of a mix of both of them, and what they only want is the treasures, the money, the food, etc., etc., etc. But they also kidnap people to work for them for nothing, and it's a whole anarchy in those raiders and places that we as people know even today. But why I say Klingons is that they have the same aggressiveness, the same thinking, and also their appearance, like in their battle suits, etc. It's very comparable, and I think that's one thing what I noticed from the bad guys. The way how Spock also acted around when he was captured, that is really, I don't know, maybe it's both human but also both Vulcan, because he still was thinking logical. In one way he played a little bit on emotions, but he also lied to this pirate captain, if I can say it like that. So he all did that to escape and warn the Enterprise. And I think those space pirates underestimated Spock. And it's really nice to see Spock in the way of, like, I don't want to say hero, but a main character that will stand and do everything to go back to the Enterprise and his captain. So, once again, I like to recommend this book for you guys. My rating, you know, a 1-star rating is very bad and 5-star rating is awesome. So I will give this my rating as a 5-star. And, well, tell me what you think about it. Did you read it? And what do you think about the book and how it's written, the storyline, etc.? I love it when you discuss this with me in the comment below. And I will see you soon. Live long and prosper.